Dr. Shashi, I'm live. If I'm audible, please let me know in the chat box. Yeah, I logged in a little early before 7. Yeah, I'll begin exactly at 7 o'clock. Dr. Shashi. Okay. Dr. Shashi, am I audible? Am I audible? Just let me know. Thank you, Dr. Shashi. I hope I am audible. I'll just, I think the noise of the fan is too much. Just a minute. Okay. Light disturbance. Now is that okay? Let me know if the brightness is okay. My voice and the picture. Is it very clear? Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Let me know when should I begin. Sorry for this get-up. My hair are just not manageable. Thanks to the lockdown, my hair has grown so much. This was the only option. So being a boy, I had no equipment to handle my hair. So this was the last resort. So sorry for the look, informal look that I am having right now. It's because of Modi uncle. Okay, should I begin, ma'am? Okay. Hi guys, I'm Amrut Deshmukh, also known as Booklet Guy. 4 years ago, as a chartered accountant, I got into stock market and wanted to make big money. But then I quit my job and started a new startup. So, but the startup failed. I said, okay, let me try another startup. My second startup failed. I tried a third startup, and my third startup also failed. So with 3 failed startups on my LinkedIn profile, and as a result of that, 1 failed relationship on my Facebook profile, I was dejected, depressed, had no clue what to do next in life. And at that time, I remembered the words of my elder brother. He used to say that, Amrut, whenever you are stuck up with the question what next in life, read random. Read random. Alright? So I started reading books randomly that were gathering dust at home. We all have those unread books and half-read books gathering dust on the bookshelf at our house. And most of the books happen to be biographies of great legendary people in the world, like Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekanand, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Abdul Kalam. And I thought that I got the answer why I failed in my 3 previous startups. The reason was the question that I asked myself when I used to begin or start a new venture. And the question was so selfish, what's in it for me? मुझे क्या मिलेगा? मेरा पैसा, मेरी तरक्की, my wealth, my career, it was all about me, 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 me. And after reading biographies of these people, these legends, there was a paradigm shift in my mindset from what's in it for me to what can I give. And everything changed. Everything changed. Now that I should not expect anything from people or anything in return to whatever I give, I got so many options. There were so many choices. And gradually my excitement for money started deteriorating. Today money doesn't excite me anymore. In fact, we are always under a wrong impression that money is a great motivator, but no, that's an illusion. Money can never be the motivator. Money is always a byproduct of you doing something great. That's all. Yeah. The starting point should not be money. That अच्छा मुझे इतना पैसा कमाना है तभी मैं क्या करूँ? ऐसा नहीं होता है. You do something well, do something great, and then money will happen automatically. So I decided to become a social entrepreneur, and whatever my 4th startup would be, their wealth maximization should not be the primary objective. Okay, money should come as a byproduct of my passion. So I got an idea at a movie theater where I and my friend were discussing. Because we reached movie theater 15 minutes before the show time, I was just narrating him the 7 habits that I learned from a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And he was really impressed by my narration, and he said, Amrit, look, you are an avid reader, you love reading, and the way you narrated those 7 habits from that best-selling book, I felt like I visited the book and learned the major learnings and takeaways from the book in these 20 minutes through your mouth, through your narration. So why don't you start sharing your notes or whatever you scribble, or summaries or your learnings from a book, so that your reading habit can benefit me. I said, wow, my reading habit can benefit others. That's a great thing, yeah? And I'm passionate about reading. And from there the seeds of Mission Make India Read were sown. And I went home, and in those days APJ Abdul Kalam had just passed away. It was, I think, August 2015. Yeah, August 2015. And I read his biography, Wings of Fire, Agnipank, and made a 20-minute summary of that biography, and decided to share that summary on WhatsApp with 10 of my close friends whom I really cared for. And one of the friends was the guy who gave me the idea at Bahubali Theatre. And because most of my friends used to buy books but never bothered to read them. Yeah, and I realized that there is a difference between books and reading habit. Books and reading habit are not synonymous. It's like having dumbbells at home and lifting those dumbbells. There's a lot of difference, right? We all buy books, but honestly tell me, those who are watching right now, okay, give me a very honest answer. We all have books at home. Yeah, Dr. Shashi, you must be having some 50 odd books. I have a little more. I have 3,000 books at home. How many of us, all of us, have read each and every book that is lying in your house right now? Can anybody answer in the chat box? If yes, please write yes. If no, please write no. I would like to know the answer. Yeah, Dr. Shashi, you can start. So, honestly, reading habit and books are not synonymous. So, I decided that only giving books or book summaries is not the solution. Okay, I want to make my friends read, and so I decided to share it on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is such a easy access. Most of the messages are read on WhatsApp. In fact, readership of WhatsApp is better than email. So I shared that APJ Abdul Kalam's biography's summary with 10 of my friends on WhatsApp, and they all liked and they shared that summary with their friends. I told them that share my number. I don't want anything in return. I just want to help you guys. And within 1 week, there were 1,000 people on my WhatsApp contacts who were not my direct friends. They were my friend of friends, and said that it's a great idea, and we are also interested in your book summaries. And that boosted my confidence, and finally I gave it a formal name as Mission Make India Read, because WhatsApp is used by entire India. So why not make it a mission? And why mission? Because I learned that it should not be a business, and money should come as a byproduct, and I was not interested in gaining personal benefits out of it, and the commercial aspirations were gone in trash. My dreams of BMW started looking very gloomy to me. They did not excite me anymore, and things got replaced with people. People became my top priority, and I realized that happiness comes from serving more and more people, and I should help people around me, and books was my weapon or tool to help others. And from there the journey started. When the number of readers on WhatsApp reached to 50,000 in 1 month, I took a small survey and asked 1,000 people out of 50,000 that did you read my last week's summary, because I used to share a new book summary every week, and 80% of them said no. Time nahi mila. I was busy in office, I was busy with my wife, I was busy with my household work, and I was so disappointed that the whole idea was that because you don't get time to read these fat books, I am here to help you by making 20-minute summaries. You don't have time to even read those 20-minute summaries? Cool. I will read out for you. And I decided to buy a nice microphone like this, which is right now. This is the microphone I bought 4 years ago, and decided to record those summaries in my voice so that you can at least listen to them the way we listen to YouTube music. But then one thing was holding me back, or the fear that will people laugh at my voice, my style of reading. I'm not a professional RJ, radio jockey, or a voiceover artist. So how will my narration be taken by people on such a platform? So that was holding me back from taking action, because I was fearful. I had an inferiority complex. Also, we regional people, like I'm Maharashtrian. Maharashtrian guys have the tendency of putting Marathi accent in English, which happens very naturally. So, for example, if the ideal pronunciation is fundamental is the ideal pronunciation. We guys say fundamental. Stress upon some letters or words like water. It should be water. The last R should be with rolling your tongue. But these things, were creating inferiority complex, and that was holding me back from recording the summaries. And as I always say that whenever I'm stuck up with the question, what next? Read random. These are the golden words my elder brother used to tell me when I was a child. I stumbled upon a book called How to Be an Imperfectionist by Stephen Geese. Look at the name. How to be an imperfectionist. We all are told since childhood by our parents and teachers, be perfect, be perfect. I still remember I was in 6th standard, and I had scored 99 marks in science, and I was so excited to give this good news to my dad. My dad is a farmer, and he was supposed to come at 6 o'clock in the evening, and I was anxiously waiting for him to come. I was waiting at the balcony My dad came on his scooter, and before he could come upstairs, I just stopped him on the road. Baba, Baba, I scored 99 in science, I shouted from the balcony. And my dad just stopped his car, looked at me upstairs and said, "Ek mark kidhar gaya?" So, I mean, no complaints about my dad, but of course parenting is also an art. So, but the author says exactly the opposite. He says that imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Done is better than perfect. वो परफेक्शन के चक्कर में हम कुछ करते ही नहीं है. Why? Because perfection comes with ego. Author doesn't say कि जान मुझसे गंदा काम करो. What he says is there is a difference between perfection and excellence. Perfection is flawlessness. जब तक मेरा जो काम है, it could be a PowerPoint presentation, it could be audio summary, it could be a song on guitar or piano, or just a football technique, a football kick. Until it is not flawless, I will not show my performance, my work to anybody, be it my friends, colleagues, office, boss, parents, whatever. Now this is full of ego, because my weaknesses shouldn't be get exposed, because then people will laugh at my weaknesses. But there is a difference between perfection and excellence. Don't go for perfection. Excellence is, if you think that you have done your job well, maybe with 70% accuracy, have the courage and humility to share your performance, to share your work with all your friends, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, and then take authentic feedback. That takes a lot of courage, because you are exposing your weaknesses and flaws and deficiencies, right? And have the courage to get the feedback, whether positive or negative, work on those deficiencies one by one, again give your work to the audience, work on your weaknesses, and this is how you gradually reach excellence. And this is the right way to approach nowadays, and nowadays reaching out people is so easy. Internet is a best tool to reaching out to people. If you think that you have made some first video of your life, just put it on Facebook and ask people to comment on it and give feedback. And when I did this, I said, okay, I can at least speak in English, forget about the accent. And I recorded the summary of the same book, How to Be an Imperfectionist, and shared it along with the text summary on WhatsApp. Out of those 50,000 people, not a single person laughed at me. Not a single person laughed. The fear that I had in my mind, what is the biggest fear of man in this world? It's not poverty or bhoot or death. No, the biggest fear of human being is to be ridiculed, to be laughed by others, to be looked like a fool by others. Yes, we badly go for need social validation. कोई हम पे हंसना नहीं चाहिए, लोग क्या कहेंगे? But nobody laughed at me. That was a big surprise for me. And when I asked people that I know that this is my first audio which is way away from perfection, I was a very naive reader, then that did not make you laugh at me? And when the answer that I got from most of them was that, Amrut, look, you are a chartered accountant, you left your job, you could have easily made millions of dollars in Dubai and US, and you have quit the path which is most traveled and trying to walk the path which is least traveled, which is full of uncertainty, frugality. So instead of laughing at you, we felt that we saw ourselves in you. हम नहीं कर सके तो at least we'll support you. Yeah, and that was a great thing. So whenever you try to walk the path which is least traveled, that itself makes you a leader. Your leadership may be full of flaws, but that means you are a leader, and people will help you to go ahead. And from there, that was an instant hit. People started listening to my book summaries while commuting in train, bus, while jogging, while cooking. So this is how today 15 lakh enthusiastic readers, or perhaps should I say listeners, are part of this mission. And Booklet Make India Read is a free mobile app on Play Store and Apple Store. So during the lockdown, I think after Zoom and all these online platforms, if there must be some tech venture which is going very fast and growing very fast, it must be booklet, because people have turned to books and booklet, and activities on booklet app have shot up by 400% in the lockdown. Yeah. So the name of the topic today is crowded canteens and empty libraries. Yeah. Yes, this is the inconvenient truth that we are observing. But for every problem there has to be a solution. And I started analyzing all the reading problems, why books have gone out of life, especially of the youth of India. And finally all those experiments and analysis manifested into a book which is the 7 habits of highly effective readers. Okay, it's shining. Yeah, can you see the 7 habits of highly effective readers? I adapted the name from my favorite author, Stephen Covey. So instead of, I just replaced the word people with readers. The main message that I want to give to the teachers, to the parents, to the librarians, so-called librarians, that now it's not book in hand style of reading. This is not the only way of reading left. Thanks to the disruptive nature of internet, the gamut of reading has expanded substantially. So instead of pulling the crowd from the canteens and trying to convince them to come to the libraries, why not take library to the canteen? I'm not saying literally, but why not just put one stack of books in the canteen? Simple solution, because something which is always in front of your eyes, you tend to just open it. Yeah, if you keep pav bhaji in front of me for 4 hours, I am bound to fall prey to it and just taste it at least once. Yeah, so we can do that. Take your library to the canteen, or convert their library into a cafe. We all know that the youth is going to cafes, and the board games is the latest trend nowadays. So why not, instead of just spending lakhs of money in restructuring your library, just put few tables and give a look of a cafe, and then as a byproduct offer them books. So at least they will step into the libraries, and with some selfish motive to enjoy, and young boys and girls would love to do that. So my whole objective is to change the traditional image that we have created of the library in the minds of students. Because when I was a student, the image of library in my mind was, highly disciplined, whatever I do, there was shoo from the librarian, pin drop silence, like a sacred place. Of course it's a sacred place. I'm not saying that let's make library noisy, but we have so many solutions to it. So we have to make all the rules a little less stringent and make it a cooler place to sit at, so that it will become more attractive for the students to come and sit. We can make use of technology. As I said, the book for me is not the white paper and the black ink sandwiched in this cardboard. That is not the only way of book left. So how about, we all have laptops and computers in our schools and at home. How about using a laptop, making a group of 10 students and showing them a documentary of Abdul Kalam or Mother Teresa or Martin Luther King, and then that will evoke curiosity in them, and they might ask for books of other leaders or other biographies. Or how about, how many of you adults are on Instagram? Most of you must be on Facebook, especially I'm talking about people above 40-50. You know that the young boys and girls from schools and colleges nowadays are not on Facebook, they are on Instagram. Very few adult people know this fact. So we have to find out why these kids are going to these platforms like TikTok and Instagram. What is the reason behind it, and why not start living their routine so that they feel that, okay, these guys are one of us, and maybe make a video of one big idea from a book which is there in the library, along with the students. Take 1 or 2 enthusiastic students from your school and college, and librarian or teacher should get involved in making the video. You should be part of that video, and ask them to upload those videos on their Instagram handles and on your Instagram, and then see how the ball gets rolled. Maybe they'll get some comments and the student will run to you and say, ma'am, we got some comments and people are asking some questions, what should I reply? And this is how the relationship between the teacher and the student will grow, and then they will have no fear and hesitation to fall in love with books and libraries. Of course, these are all wild ideas which are just coming to my mind on real-time basis. If you sit and think and try to shatter all the rules of the past, that you should if a student returns the book of the library late by 1 or 2 days, he's penalized. Fine, it's okay, 1 or 2 days here and there, that's fine. Or if somebody underlines or scribbles on the book, he's shouted at. No, that's fine. Okay, what's the big deal? It is hardly any cost that we are paying. If somebody is borrowing a book, that itself is a big thing. So if you try to scare them by returning on time and do not underline or write anything on the book, next time he will say, "Bhai, अगली बार मैं book नहीं लूँगा, जाने दो, बहुत लफड़े हैं." Yeah, because they have options. Because our competition is directly with these unlimited videos on YouTube, unlimited pornographic videos, unlimited TikTok videos, yeah, and unlimited news feeds on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, our competition is with these guys. So, and access to these platforms is just one click away. It's a game of only one finger. And if we put so many restrictions on the library or strict rules, then definitely we will lose this competition. All right. Another drawback of reading, not drawback I would say, but see, nothing happens overnight. Any habit, whether it is good or bad, the results of that habit are never seen in the immediate future. Say for example, if I run for 20 minutes today in the morning, I will still be out of shape tomorrow. Okay. Similarly, if I eat one family size pizza today, I am not going to become overweight overnight. Right? So I am giving you both the examples, good habit and bad habit. So, but if you keep repeating this behavior over and over again, day by day, again and again for a fairly long period of time, then you will start getting the results of the compounding effect of those small behaviors, the small repetition of that behavior. 20-minute jogging, yeah. If you keep running for 20 minutes every morning, after say 8-10 months, gradually start getting in shape. Right. Similarly, if I keep eating a family size pizza every Sunday, yeah, after 1 year, I am certainly going to get out of shape. So nothing happens overnight. Okay, great things take time to happen. Okay, there is nothing called revolution. There is only evolution. You can't have a baby in 1 month by making 9 women pregnant. You can't defy the laws of nature. So the compound effect is very important, but unfortunately, because it happens so slowly, it's not visible to our naked eyes, and we think that there are no results. After reading one book, I'm not going to become Chanakya. By going to the gym for 1 month and doing 500 crunches, still my tummy will be as it is. There won't be any sign of six packs on my tummy. So this is very unfortunate that we fall prey to the activities of instant gratification. Yeah, watching 30 minutes of stand-up comedy of Kapil Sharma gives me instant gratification, and that is why I choose for such activities and don't read a book or don't do 50 push-ups or meditate for 5-10 minutes. Because reading, exercising, meditation, you will not see any results of these in the immediate future. They look useless in the short run. Yeah, and that's why we lose interest very soon, because there are no results. So that's why I tried to bring some instant gratification in reading by giving 20-minute summaries or even those tiny booklets. I have started with tiny booklets in Booklet app, which is like one big idea from the great books that I read, which is described in 150 words. Why 150 words? Because the average reading speed of most of the people is 150 words per minute. So in 1 minute, you will be getting the best idea from the best books. I'll do all the hard work, don't worry about that. That's my passion, that's the purpose of my life. I also want to talk something about e-reading. Yeah. Now, as I said, the gamut of reading has expanded. So book in hand style of reading is not the only way of reading nowadays. Online reading has its own advantages and disadvantages. Like you can have 1,000 books in your pocket if you have a Kindle, or my mobile itself has some 300 PDFs in my mobile right now, and some 500 audiobooks or book talks. There are some podcasts that I download. So this is the biggest advantage. The disadvantage of online reading is that online reading, the structure of online reading itself is not made for deep focused reading, unfortunately, because the revenue model in itself is based on our distraction, on shallow reading. See, when I'm reading an online article or something or a blog, suddenly some ad will pop up. Yeah, obviously because they want to make money out of it. Therefore, I have strictly no ads in Booklet app, because on one hand I'm asking make India read, and on the other hand I'm distracting you by flashing ads. My conscience did not allow me to do so. Hence, there are no irritating ads on Booklet app. So, but online reading, so those suddenly those ads pop up, and then there is some external link, yeah, which is so attractive that you feel like clicking on it, and it takes you to some another page, and then suddenly a pop-up comes where they ask you to put in your email ID for a free ebook or a free newsletter, and suddenly you realize that you have opened 10 tabs on your internet browser. ऐसा होता है? It's a very common thing that used to happen with me. And उस चक्कर में I used to forget where did I start from? What was the whole purpose of opening my laptop? Right? And this is the reading journey on online. Yeah, there is a simple solution to it. So what I do is, first of all, you should have a clear purpose when you open a laptop. If you open your laptop or computer without any clear purpose, then you are getting into a black hole, because these expert tech giants are very clever in manipulating our behavior. Very smart. In fact, human behavior manipulation is the biggest subject of research today in Silicon Valley. If somebody invents a new tactic to attract our attention, notification is the biggest invention of Silicon to create distractions in our focus time. So what I do is, I just copy the online content, put it in my notepad or Word doc, switch off the internet of my laptop and read. Simple solution, right? But not all e-reading is online reading, right? I can read PDF, I can read Kindle, I can listen to audio files, and all these are free from these distractions. Even booklet has its own offline mode, and of course there are no ads, so no distractions. Yeah, so these are the advantages and disadvantages of online reading. But honestly, what I have seen is that most of the articles, blogs, whatever, the source are books. Sometimes they give honest attribution, sometimes they don't attribute to the original authors. So घूम फिर के मैं books पे ही आया. Even movies, most of the movies on Netflix, मुझे लगा कि अरे ये book से, ये तो मैंने book में पढ़ा था ये. Ultimately, however different mediums I tried, I landed up on books. I'm not saying because my mission is all about books, that's why I have a bias towards books, but the source is always books. I don't know why. Like for example, Harry Potter, when I saw or watched the movie Harry Potter for the first time, I was shocked that my Harry Potter of my imagination was completely different from the director's Harry Potter. That was a cultural shock for me, because I have read all the series of Harry Potter since my childhood. Even the Jhadu, the Jhadu, my Jhadu was quite different from the one which is shown in the movie. So while reading, it's a very active process, and that stimulates our imagination and connects with our inner emotions. But when we watch a TV or a video, that imagination is completely destroyed, and we become a passive, dumb watchers. Okay, our brain completely stops thinking, and we just watch what is being shown on the screen. So between reading, listening and watching, I would give full marks to reading and listening. When you listen, still your imagination is still active, okay, because you don't see a screen. So if you listen to booklet or audio book or audibles on Amazon, absolutely fine. It is as good as reading. In fact, I would say sometimes it is better than reading, because listening requires a little less willpower than reading. If you are exhausted and you're coming back from office, working the whole day, and you're commuting in train, bus or Ola, then reading becomes really difficult because you're physically, mentally exhausted. So at that time you can just put in your headphones and listen. In fact, 80% of people on Booklet app listen to book summaries. And many also have given me a feedback that we read and listen both at the same time. And when we do this, we digest, we understand more. Maybe because two senses are being used, listening and eyes and ears. So perhaps that must be the reason of better comprehension. But I would say that comprehension is overrated. I've also mentioned this in my book. This is the most common question I'm asked in most of my seminars. Amrut, how to get maximum comprehension out of the book? How to increase our understanding level? Let me tell you that comprehension is overrated. See, if you don't understand a line or a paragraph in a book, don't worry. If the author is really great, he will make sure that he will not leave any stone unturned to make sure that you learn those ideas that he wants you to drive home. Okay, if you don't understand something, maybe he has a plan to elaborate it in detail in future chapters, or maybe the fact that it is not explained in detail, that means it is not the most important part of the book, or maybe he is going to simply repeat it because it is the most important part. Yeah, for example, I have repeated one or two ideas so many times in my book because I want it. I deliberately repeated it because that's the most important part. So there are so many ways. See, we are human beings. We have the biggest brain in the animal kingdom. We are not donkeys. So even if you stubbornly decide that I am not going to understand anything from the book, still you will end up understanding something. Right? That's really funny. So don't worry about comprehension. Just keep the momentum on. Just keep reading for the sake of reading. Don't ponder upon मुझे समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं. Why? You know why? Because there is a difference between learning and studying. See, studying, we always study with a fear in the back of the mind that I am going to be tested on the newly gained information. Yeah, studying is always performance oriented, like in the form of examinations, right? And that is more academic reading. But learning is always work in progress. It is not performance oriented. I am not going to be tested. So by studying you are expected to display accuracy and perfection, but learning में ऐसा नहीं है. Okay, and we have to learn the one or two or three big ideas from these general books, the books that are behind me, books like The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. There are not going to happen any exams on these books, or Rich Dad Poor Dad, or Chanakya Niti, or 5 Love Languages. So let's take advantage of it. Yeah, you just have to get the big picture and skip the details. Yeah, it is better to learn 10% from 10 different books than learning 100% from one book. I am okay if my friend returns a book by reading only 50 pages or 100 pages. That's fine. At least he read those. Is it a rule that you can learn from a book only if you reach to the last page? No, not necessary. So I was talking about learning and studying. So didn't we learn our mother tongue? My mother tongue is Marathi. I learned Marathi well before I was admitted in the school. And in the school, I started studying Marathi, the grammar and all. But to learn Marathi, I was not required to know the grammar and all those details. I just learned it by mimicking my parents and people in the family. So that is learning. Okay, you can learn without studying. We learn cooking, we learn swimming, we learn driving, we don't study them. Thus we have to learn those big ideas from the books and not study them. Yeah. So another thing I want to talk about online reading that I skipped, which I spoke about. Yes, there is a lot of mobile addiction in most of us, not only kids but also adults. Of course, I'm nobody to preach and tell all the people that uninstall WhatsApp, uninstall TikTok. No, there's no point in saying that. I'll just educate you that why, what makes us go on such addictive apps. Okay, and there is no point. There is nothing called digital detox. ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. But if you understand how these Silicon Valley guys are manipulating our behavior, then perhaps we'll come to know how to deal with it. Because how easily they can attract attention, that easily we can also keep them away from us. So what is the similarity between gambling, consuming alcohol, smoking a cigarette? Yeah, the common thing is that they're all addictive, dangerous, and they all produce a certain chemical called dopamine in our brain. Dopamine is a feel good factor, that happy hormones that get released in our brain. किक लगती है बोलता ना, एक सिगरेट पीने वाले के बाद इंसान बोलता है मुझे किक लगती है. दैट इज एक्चुअली डोपामाइन दैट गेट्स रिलीज्ड. ओके, नाउ इफ यू ऑब्जर्व ऑल दीज एक्टिविटीज लाइक गैम्बलिंग, स्मोकिंग, अल्कोहल, even during sex, a lot of dopamine gets released in our brain. Now if you observe, they all have some age limit. Okay, gambling is not allowed for kids. Liquor shop can't sell alcohol to a 10-year-old child. Smoking is banned for kids, and nature has put age limit on sex. I mean, a 8-year-old child can't achieve orgasm because of natural reasons. Now let me tell you, the same chemical called dopamine gets released when we are on Facebook, when we are on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Are you surprised to know this? Yes, same amount of, not same amount, a little lesser amount of dopamine is released in our brains when we are on these social media apps. Yeah, but this is now, all the other examples are substance addiction, substance behavioral changes. Like, we consume cocaine and that gets reflected in our face, and people are sent to rehabilitation places. But this is behavioral addiction. They actually manipulate our behavior, right? And that is not easily visible on our faces. It can be easily hidden socially. Okay, so nobody will accept that I am addicted to all these social media apps. Nobody, because you can easily hide it. So in fact, Steve Jobs did not allow his own kids to use iPhone and iPad at his home till the age of 16, because he knew that a drug dealer can't go high on his own supply. या कभी पान वाले को खुद को स्मोक करते हुए देखा है क्या? नहीं, because he knows that it's not good for us. We just have to do evil to others. Now this is really unethical. These tech giants, they never allow, the Candy Crush guy will never allow his own kids to play on Candy Crush. So I had decided that whatever I do in life, I should be proud to hand it over to my next generation. I'll do only something that is ethical, which my own family can use it. Only then I'll do it, and hence the result is in the form of booklet. So this is, if we tell these things to our kids, I think they will get the proper signals and then come to know what to do. There are simple ways. I have disabled all the notifications of my social media apps, including SMS and emails. That was the best thing I could do, act of kindness that I have ever done to myself. In fact, I would give 50% of my credit of booklet success to this tiny act of kindness of disabling the notifications on my mobile. Yeah. Second, what I do is, I never keep my mobile on my desk or in my pocket if I want to focus on a particular task, especially reading. It is always in another room, a few miles away from me. Now you ask that, then how about being connected with friends? You will miss out the calls, you will miss out important messages. First of all, let me tell you that if it is urgent, the guy will never WhatsApp you, he will call you. So messages on WhatsApp are never urgent, point number one. And the world will not collapse down if you give a reply to WhatsApp after 30 minutes. Okay, never go for long elongated hours of focus time. It is impossible. You can't focus on one thing for more than 30 minutes. In fact, 25 minutes. So I always take micro breaks after 30 minutes, like micro breaks of 2-3 minutes. I'll grab my mobile, reply to all the unread WhatsApp messages, call back to all the missed calls. The mobile is always on silent mode. In fact, Dr. Shashi knows it very well that we both were in touch for last 1 week. Dr. Shashi, you must have observed that you never get my reply on WhatsApp immediately. It must be after 2-3 hours. That's the reason why. Yeah, I think I have covered quite a number of points about reading. I would like to take some questions now. So, Dr. Shashi, if somebody has questions, they can write down in the chat box and I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, any questions? My daughter is also watching you now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Topic and language. Learning and okay. Vivekanand Sharma is saying that he liked the concept of difference between learning and studying. Thank you. Which book has impacted you the most? Oh, that's a difficult question. I have read 1350 books till now. Whatever books I cover on booklet are highly filtered out books. Behind every summary that I release on booklet, I must have read 2 to 3 books or 4 books, and then I decide whether are these books really relevant for today's youth. So I have done away with the traditional names of genres like self-help. Now self-help, it's such a general term. Na? In self-help में productivity, time management भी आता है and cookbook, recipe book भी आता है. So there is no point in categorizing the genres as per the traditions. So I have created my own genres. Like few of them are like human behavior and mobile addiction. I have considered as a genre itself because it's the most relevant thing for today's youth or for everybody. Then there are some stories, biographies. Yeah. Then there is one category called young kids. Kids from the age of 6 to 16 can easily understand and enjoy the books covered in this category. Now, if you ask me in particular what books impacted me, I think every book, but to be precise, Unposted Letter by T.T. Rangarajan, also known as Mahatria Ra, has made a great impact on me. He's an Indian author, Indian spiritual guru. Start With Why by Simon Sinek. He's one of my favorite authors. He has written many books. Start With Why, Find Your Why, Leaders Eat Last, and he has recently launched a new book called The Infinite Game. Yeah, thank you. Alright, let me talk about my book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Readers. I picked up unselfishness as my human value, and hence it's a social enterprise with no commercial aspirations whatsoever. And I promise that book summaries will always be free on Booklet app, and this is just a beginning. I'll keep coming with new reading innovations and make sure that everybody gets hooked and addicted to books the way we are addicted to other apps. Second thing, now how do I bring unselfishness in the book? So I have not copyrighted the book. I think copywriting and patenting is again selfishness. So the ideas in this book should be a gift to the mankind to take it forward. Secondly, so I get many emails and WhatsApp messages from young boys and girls, especially from rural India, that we are passionate readers, we love reading, but we can't afford to buy books. And I used to casually tell them that download Booklet app. There are like almost 300 book summaries you can enjoy. Everything is free. And they used to say that, Amrut, we have read all your booklets and we are desperately waiting for your next upload. And I had no answer for them. My heart melted for such passionate but poor readers who are deprived from reading just because of lack of money. But now that I have written my own book, I have a very good answer for them. So what I do is, I appeal to all the booklet community, and I also appeal to you that if you can afford, if you are above the poverty line, not in a hand to mouth situation, then please go ahead and rise up for the mission by buying this book from bookletguy.com. It's not there on Amazon, it's on my site bookletguy.com, so that I can help these passionate but poor readers by giving my book for free. So kind of Robin Hood of books. Yeah. So bookletguy.com is the site where you can buy the book. The courier services have just resumed, so I'll make sure that the book lands in your hands very soon. One thing I skipped, I still share book summaries on WhatsApp. And if you want book summaries on WhatsApp, you can quickly note down my WhatsApp number. Dr. Shashi or Vivekanand, you could just write down my number in the chat box. It will be great. It's 9594 9594 7000 9594 7000 77. I repeat, 9594 7000 77. If somebody could write it in the chat box, it will be great. So please WhatsApp me your name or booklet, and I'll be happy to share book summaries with you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening to me patiently. I also love to help social entrepreneurs or social startups. So if anybody, we have 15 lakh people who believe in my belief. So if I can always be ready to happy to help social entrepreneurs who want to make a change in the society. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Vivekanand, for writing the number. Above number is to get WhatsApp summary from Amrut. Yeah, of course. Booklet app to hai. Either way, whatever you are comfortable. Because I don't stand for booklet app, by the way. Like, I don't care I don't care about the numbers. Those likes and video views and app downloads. They don't excite me anymore. What excites me is an email from somebody who says that, Amrut, because of you I have started reading books. Yeah, I hardly used to read, but now I have started reading regularly. This is my achievement. Yeah, achievement is not the interviews and media coverage and those awards and TED Talk. These are just acknowledgements of my achievement. Achievement is when I get a call from a young girl in the night who says that, Amrut, she started saying that, Amrut, I love your voice, I listen to all your booklets, you speak so well. So I thought that 11 o'clock in the night, is this girl flirting with me? So I just decided to pull her leg and said, why do you always listen? You can at times read and listen both. Booklet app has got both, audio and text. You know what she said? She said, Amrut, I am blind. I can't read because I can't see. And I got goosebumps all over my body, that how could I not think that there is one section in the society for whom booklet and our mission can be a boon to them. Right? I lost my mother 15 years ago and she donated her eyes after her death. But I think I am luckier than my mom that somebody can read books through my eyes while I am alive. What else can I expect from life? And that's the power of social entrepreneurship. Yeah. So thank you so much. And APJ Abdul Kalam talks about his dream in his book India 2020. He wanted to see India as a developed nation, and I believe Mission Make India Read is one step towards making his dream come true. In fact, I pity the young American. He doesn't have a chance to make his motherland a developed nation, but we do. So let's hurry up. Thank you so much and happy reading, and bye bye.